Good afternoon. My name is Greg Woodward. I'm the president at the University of Hartford, and I'd like to welcome you to our virtual open house today. I know it's a gorgeous afternoon, so you're inside perhaps, maybe you're at a nice park or someplace with a pretty view of the fall foliage. But thanks for joining us. I know you have lots of choices, so I'm glad you're with us today. You're going to learn a lot about the university, answer some of your questions. Be sure throughout the afternoon you'll go ahead and use the question and answer feature on the meeting so that you can ask what you'd like and we can help you get some good answers. I hope this meeting finds you safe and healthy and certainly happy. I know it's a stressful time. It's a crazy time in our world. I can tell you that the University of Hartford is doing great. Our students are practicing beautiful, safe and healthy practices. They're doing very well. We've tested all the students. We've had literally a handful of positive cases. Those students are being watched carefully, and they're mostly just healing and getting back to their lives. In fact, they're all just healing and getting back to their lives. We don't have a single faculty or staff member that is tested positive. So we have intense testing protocols. We have a Live Safe app that students and faculty and staff check in on every single day. We have 14 full-time nurses doing contact tracing 24/7. We're testing wastewater. We have signage. We have plexiglass. We have soon we'll have quick rapid tests with saliva and the whole bit. So we are doing everything we can to keep people here on campus safe and healthy, and it's working very well. I'm so impressed with our community. Everybody on campus, faculty, staff, and students are just doing a fabulous job of keeping each other safe and healthy. So it's a great scenario, even in the midst of this craziness. You know, you'll look back at this and probably realize that you're kind of famous. You have something special to recognize yourself with. You were the class that probably missed your senior year to a certain degree. You missed your commencement, probably your graduation. Starting college is going to be a little different. It's an interesting and crazy year, but it'll be special for you. And what will be special about that, I suppose, is that you persevered and fought your way through it and found yourself on a good path for your own future. So good for you. Looking for a college, choosing what your next step is a big part of that path. So I commend you for making that decision right now in your lives as well. I want to talk to you a little bit about college. You know, when you go to college, your life is simply going to be better. I just can't imagine another answer. I know it sounds really obvious, but you will have a better career. You'll have a richer life because you'll be more educated, more exposed to many more things that will keep you curious and learning throughout your life. You're going to meet your best lifelong friends. I know that's hard to believe in college. You're going to have fabulous mentors, and the staff and faculty here are going to help you. You'll earn a lot more money if that matters to you by having a college degree. And in this tough job market, you'll have a leg up on getting those jobs and having a great career. That will flatten out. You'll be fine. You got 4 years to go till this is all settled. You'll make it. It'll be okay. You're doing exactly the right thing right now. So I encourage you to follow through on this dream. Don't let it stall out. Keep moving. It's the right thing for you to do. Now, look, I want you to choose a great college where you're going to be inspired to learn a lot and to stick it out. So is University of Hartford the right fit for you? I hope it is. If it's not, I still encourage you to pursue your dreams. Let me tell you a little bit about the university, and that might help you make those decisions. If you can, come for a tour someday on campus. You'll love being on campus and seeing it all. Like I say, I'm sorry we're in a virtual setting right now. But we have seven schools. Those schools are places where students can dig as deeply as they want into professional study and training and education that lead to rather specific careers in many cases. So the business school, the art school, the Hart School of Music, Theater, and Dance, the engineering, computer science, or technology school, our School of Education and Health Practices and Nursing, our School of Arts and Sciences, the Hillier College. Whatever school you're engaged with, you are going to be prepared to be a great professional. I think something like 90% of our graduates last year were employed or went to graduate school when they left us. So congratulations to all of them. The great beauty of this particular structure is that when you're in a school, let's say you're a Barney student, and you're going to talk to somebody in just a minute who's a Barney student in marketing. And when you're in that school, you are going to become an expert at marketing. And that will be beautiful and great. And that's probably where your career will go. But it may not. You may change your major. You may get into your career and think you want to do something different. And that's perfectly fine too. You also may want to explore other things while you're at college. Maybe you've always played the trumpet and you want to continue to play the trumpet. Great. Maybe you want to go on a study abroad, do an archaeological dig. Great, let's do that. Maybe you're intensely into service learning and helping people in Hartford and in your community. Let's definitely do that. There are so many things for you to do. And the joy and beauty of this particular place is that wherever you are, wherever you're working, you can move from that place of deep professional training to another place where that's happening as well. Now, what I mean by that is if you go from Barney to the Hart School, you're not just going into some small music department where they kind of dabble in music and you have a couple of good faculty perhaps, but not the incredible expertise and depth of what the Hart School is. So that's just one example. It could go the other way. You might be a Hart student and want to learn finance. You may be a poetry major. You may be a criminal justice major. You may be a psychology major and want to study something else. All of those things are available. You have 150 different majors to choose from. We've added a bunch of new ones in the last couple of years because we know that families, but especially students, want new options, and our society calls out for those options. And so we've added a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, a Digital Media and Journalism, Computer Science and Engineering, Exercise Science, Commercial Music, Risk Management, Insurance, Robotics, Business Analytics, and Managerial Economics. It's going on, and we're trying to always stay flexible and adjust our programs to meet your needs and to meet society's needs. Towards that end, we've had to do a lot of growth and building on campus. We have a new addition to our Barney School. It's beautiful. We built a new music recording studio. We have a new TV station studio as well. We built a Center for Student Success, which is one of my special pet projects. In this center, there are professional mentors and advisors for every single first-year student. You will have a mentor to go to whenever you want, every day if you want to. Email them, call them, talk to them, stop in and say hi. They will help you with your schedule, with thinking about your careers. They will help you with tutoring and extra help if you need it, the writing center, peer tutors. They will help you with your emotional and social and mental health if you want that kind of assistance as well. All kinds of adaptive learning situations. They are there to help you be successful. We have made a pledge at the University of Hartford that if you come here, we are going to do everything we can. We promise you that we will do everything we can to make you successful. We want you to graduate. We want you to get a great job. We want you to be able to have a rich life filled with all the beautiful things you're going to experience in college. As you look around the campus, you'll see that there's something rather large growing in the middle. It's, I think, 70,000 square feet. It's about a $60 million new building. And that's mainly for nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, exercise science, prosthetics and orthotics, radiology, but also for our engineers, robotics, computer science, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, large labs dedicated to all kinds of engineering, especially mechanical engineering. So these are the professions that our region really needs. And so we built a big center to have absolutely a state-of-the-art place for you to learn those skills and develop those majors if that's what you're excited about. Remember also that you don't have to have a major. You don't have to say, I'm coming to college to be a nurse. You could say, I'm coming to college to figure out what the heck I want to do. And that's a great thing too. Many of our students do that. And at a school like ours, with all these schools and all these different colleges inside the university, your chance to explore is really rich. Move around, try different things. You will be asked to take a core of general education classes. You will be asked to take a series of classes which are interdisciplinary in nature, so you can learn about a particular world issue or problem from multiple perspectives from a group of faculty members. I'm going to teach one in the spring, which is about race and diversity in America. And my section of the course is on protest music, its rise and fall and usefulness. It's going to be fun. And so, if you want to come and explore and do different things, that's a great thing too. I think that you'll find that some of you will go, absolutely, this is the right place for me because I wanted to go to a school that's about this location. We are outside of the city of Hartford, as you can see from the very first slide. We're about 2 hours from Boston and New York, so you can do all kinds of work in those cities and in Hartford if you'd like. Many of our students have internships, mentorships, work with alumni in their fields. and go out and work in our community. And it's a great community that is rebounding and actually really embraces and needs our help. So it's wonderful that we're in that particular position. As you walk around campus, you'll start to recognize the people that you see every day. You know, we're not so big that you don't know eventually all the faces. You know, about 4,500 undergrads, a couple thousand graduate students who aren't really here all the time. We are primarily a residential undergraduate institution. And in that size, we have the ability to offer to you all these programs, 1,000 faculty members, 1,000 staff members here to simply help you. And that's something which perhaps at a smaller school you wouldn't be able to get, where you're in a kind of a smaller institution with small departments, perhaps a liberal arts institution where great learning will happen, but not the kind of professional depth and training that you'd receive at the University of Hartford. You know, if you wanted a big school, if you want to go to 28,000, 30,000 students, then you've made the wrong choice. You know, good luck and enjoy that. I attended all kinds of schools myself. My 3 children who are done with college attended 3 different kinds of schools. I came to the University of Hartford because I think this size, this shape, this collection of majors, the way that this is structured with these schools and colleges inside this big university, and lastly, the incredible diversity of our campus, especially our student body, that looks just like the real world. I always wanted to be at a school where when I walk around campus, I think I could be anywhere in the world and it looks like the real world. We have students from all over the country, all over the world, all kinds of backgrounds and experiences, all kinds of interests. It's a beautiful mix that really reflects what you'll be entering as you graduate from your undergraduate experience. So all of those things make us rather unique. Nothing particular that says, oh my gosh, we're different than everybody else, but the combination of all those things makes us a rather special and unique place. If it's the right shape and the right place for you and it feels great, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to talk to you next fall when you're here. If there's a question that you have of me, just write to president@hartford.edu and I'll try to answer or get you to somebody who can. Again, remember to use the question and answer session throughout this day. Ask people a lot of things about the university. Come for a visit if you can. That would be great because you'll see right away whether it feels like a place you could be comfortable or not. I think you will find it very comfortable. It's a gorgeous, safe, and happy place to be, even in the midst of all this. So again, stay safe, friends. I hope you're well. I hope you're excited about this journey you're about to go on. I'm so jealous of you. It's going to be so fun and so cool. So I look forward to hearing about it, look forward to sharing it with you and helping you through it if that's something we can offer. You're now going to meet one of the examples that I've been bragging about, one of our students. And Kaylia White is a junior in the Barney School, as I mentioned, studying marketing and communications. And she has a unique story, just like everyone does. And she may be somebody that you'll meet, hang out with, talk to, or at least is representative of the kind of students that you'll become friends with, that will be your peers in learning, and that will be alongside you for the rest of your life. So good luck to you. I applaud your choice to go to college. It's the best thing for our world and for you. So have a great afternoon. And Kaylia, it's all yours. Tell us about your situation at Hartford. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, President Woodward, for that wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. Like he mentioned, my name is Kaylia White. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I'm a junior marketing major and communication minor. My goal in the next few years is to start a career in the sports entertainment industry. During my senior year, I applied to 8 schools, and I know the application process can be overwhelming, but I promise it'll all be worth it in the end. I visited campus about 3 times during my senior year, but I'll never forget my first open house because that was when I fell in love with the campus and knew it was meant to be my home. Everyone was smiling, and everyone was smiling, and happy to answer questions, and I knew it was meant to be my new home. I knew the success of the students was high priority and it would be my perfect match. I know navigating your senior year during this pandemic is a tough task, but take my advice and take this time to utilize all your resources. Talk to your guidance counselors, follow schools on social media to see the culture, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Although the pandemic is changing a lot of college norms, the university is working to keep experiences true and fun while safe. For example, I went on a hike about 2 weeks ago at Talcott Mountain State Park, glow-in-the-dark mini golfing on campus last week, and later tonight I'll be going out to our fall festival where there will be food trucks, a skating rink, and pumpkin painting. Along with the great academic programs and welcoming campus, the commitment to the students is one of the very reasons I chose University of Hartford. The education and skills I've gained from being a Barney School of Business student has allowed me to intern at the Connecticut State Capitol, work with our on-campus marketing and communications team, and receive an internship offer from Travelers Insurance, all while growing my network. To tell you the truth, I was not the perfect story to start with. I came into UHart a physical therapy major, but later realized that wasn't really my passion. With the help of my professors and academic advisors, I was able to make a seamless transition to the Barney School of Business. This is just another testament to show how well the university works to ensure your academic growth and development. I say all of this to say I achieved all of this in only 2 years at the university because of the resources provided to me and every student. You can do the same if you choose the University of Hartford. If there's anything I want you guys to remember, it is to keep an open mind and say yes to opportunities. Thank you again for your time today. I'm excited for the journey you're about to get started on, and I wish you the best of luck. I hope to see you guys around campus in the future. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the Dean of Admissions, Rick Zeiser. He'll be providing you with more important admission information and get you familiarized with UART. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalia. And by the way, folks, if you would like to meet Kalia, Wednesday afternoons at 2 o'clock is when she does her tour. Wednesday at 2. It's probably the best tour of the week. Welcome, as Kalia said, I'm Rick Zeiser. I'm the Dean of Admission here at the University of Hartford. And I'd like to give you a little bit of information about the university and about the admission process. UHart is located in West Hartford, Connecticut, which is a beautiful town, as Kalia said, with hiking trails, an active town center, great restaurants, great shops, and I think most of our students would tell you that West Hartford serves as our college town for them. But we are also very close to Hartford, the capital city of Connecticut. And what that means for our students is not only opportunities in the arts and other great places to eat and visit, but the government setting allows for internships and job experiences in every field of government and also business, because Hartford is a major business center. The insurance industry, for most of the large companies, have their headquarters here, as well as many high-tech and defense corporations like Pratt Whitney, Electric Boat, and others. Lego is here. The opportunity for students to get internships and work experience in any field, and I truly mean that when I say that, any field of study is possible in Hartford and the surrounding communities. If you want to venture out a little further, pardon me, New York City and Boston are less than 2 hours away. The mountains in Vermont, the beaches in Rhode Island and Connecticut. It is a wonderful location in southern New England. And particularly if you're not from this part of the country, which is entirely possible because our students come from every state and over 50 foreign countries. We have, it's safe to say that we have a diverse campus community in virtually every way you can think of it. Whether that is where you're from or what you're going to study or the background that you bring with you to the campus that enriches everybody's experiences. The hallmark of University of Hartford education can be measured in several statistics. One of them you see there is the student-faculty ratio of 9:1. But I want to give you a figure that I think actually is going to be more meaningful to you and easier to understand. 72% of our classes, okay, 3/4 of our classes have fewer than 20 students in them. 97% of our classes, 97%, have 29 or fewer students in them. So is this a place where you're going to come and your professors and instructors and classmates are going to know your face and know your name? Yes, it is. If you're looking for a college where you can hide in the back row, that's very hard to do here because we know who you are. We want to know who you are. And I think our students would tell you universally that is part of the University of Hartford experience. You know, we're made up of 7 schools and colleges, as President Woodward said, and I always like to tell families that universities, particularly private ones in New England, have historical stories to them. Ours happens to be that in 1877, Olivia Clemens, who might be better known to you as Mark Twain's wife, Harriet Beecher Stowe, and Elizabeth Colt of Colt Firearms founded the Hartford Art School. 3 very famous people in the Hartford area founded the art school, which now is on our campus. About 100 years ago, the Hart School was founded by Julius Hart and Moshe Perenov, and a 3rd college, which is the ancestor to our College of Arts and Sciences, came together in this location in West Hartford to begin the University of Hartford, that now has 7 schools and colleges, well over 100 majors, and students from all over the world in all backgrounds. Study what you love is what we like to say, and this slide is certainly packed full of what may look to you like words. They are the majors, or some of the majors, that the University of Hartford offers. And what you can see, and what I like to say, is we have every major from business analytics to vocal performance, from prosthetics and orthotics to early childhood education, where our students will get to work in the University of Hartford Magnet School right away. And from biomedical engineering to digital media and journalism. There's virtually no major that exists that we don't have. So we say study what you love. As President Woodward mentioned, new academic building is going up. I personally am amazed at how fast it's gone up, because when the summer started, there was a hole in the ground, and I just went over there yesterday. There is a roof on the building, which incidentally is going to be a living roof. There is going to be vegetation and things on the roof of this building that will make it an amazing addition to our campus, as well as lab space for health professions, cybersecurity, 3D printing, high bay mechanical engineering, and many others. It's going to be a great building that will be open just in time for you to get here. It would be hard for me to describe student life in just a few words. And fortunately, I don't have to, because the students are going to be giving you their impressions in the sessions that follow. But let me say a couple things about it. We have tons of clubs. That's the best way I can describe it. They're always increasing. 100 plus is a conservative estimate. There are more than 400 performances, big and small, that are put on by the Hart School. There are gallery shows in the art school. There are theater productions that are well worth your time to attend, as well as a Division I athletic program and a very robust and active intramural program. So student life at the University of Hartford is also enhanced by the fact that most of our students are not from the state of Connecticut. People often ask that question, and I know that the concern behind that is this a campus that clears out on Thursday nights? And the answer is, not only does it not clear out on Thursday nights, it is active 24/7 in any way that you can imagine, because our students come together here and are part of a rich residential traditional campus life. When I took a break earlier this morning, I looked out my window, which you can't see, but right over there is a lawn in front of the business school where there must have been 20 or 25 students playing virtual Frisbee on a Saturday morning. So this is a place where lots of things happen. We're very happy to have an Office of Engagement and Inclusion who will be part of the round robin program later. What I will tell you is the Office of Engagement and Inclusion has as its mission to make sure that every single student who is here, regardless of where you're from or what you like to do, finds a welcoming spirit and place here where you can feel part of the University of Hartford by finding a piece of our campus that belongs to you and that you belong to. So this is a campus where student life, both sort of programmed and formal as well as informal among friends, is a place where a student of any background will feel comfortable. Let's talk a little bit about the admission process. I was happy to see in a poll that 90% of you have begun the application process, and I sort of am feeling, as I think you are probably hoping, that the class that enters here in the fall of 2021 will be the class that put COVID in the rearview mirror, and that life will be much more normal and what you're used to when many of you get here in September than what we're all going through right now. So let's talk about the process with that in mind. We offer two ways in general to apply for admission: the Common App and a web application that's on our website. I would say most of our students use the Common App. If I had to estimate, I would say that 75% of our students use the Common App, which makes perfect sense because it's very convenient for you to complete one application and then submit it to the schools to which you're interested. The web-based application, however, is a more streamlined application, perhaps easier to complete than the Common App. We make have no favorites as to whether or not you apply with the Common App or the web-based app. One of them is fine, and if you submit it before November 15th, then we waive the application fee, get back to you with the decision, often in as quickly as a couple of weeks after we get the supporting information, including an answer to your application and financial assistance that you may qualify for that I'll talk about in a minute. So what are we looking for you to complete your application with. We'd like to know something about you, and the personal statement is a way for you to tell us things about you that we wouldn't know in any other way. Tell us about an event in your life that was very special and that you want to share. Tell us about a challenge or a difficulty that you overcame in the process. Tell us why you want to study what you want to study. Whatever it is, we are eager to learn more about you than just what's in your high school record, and the personal statement can be used for that. We are a test optional college and have been for a number of years. I know that many of you who are taking the SAT or the ACT had your test dates canceled back in the spring. We understand that. I know that the College Board and ACT are offering additional test dates in October and November and December. Some of them have capacity issues, as you can understand. What you need to know is if you want to submit your test scores, we will wait patiently for them, and you shouldn't feel any stress about not having the test scores. None of this is your fault. Do the best you can. Register for a test date that works for you. And if you want us to consider tests, indicate that on your application. And as I say, we will wait patiently for them. For those of you who are not going to submit tests, should be reassuring to you that there are no majors, 0 majors, that require you to submit SAT or ACT scores. So in no way are students not equally considered for admission to programs, whether they offer tests or not. That decision is completely up to you. Students will submit 1 or 2 letters of recommendation from a teacher, from a counselor, from a community member who knows you, perhaps from an employer, who knows, someone that knows you well, and like the personal statement, can tell us things about you that may not be completely obvious to us. And finally, the high school transcript is the credential, the document that is the most important feature that is considered when we review your applications. What courses you've taken and how you've done is the basis for your high school record. And what we're looking for in a sentence is we want to see evidence that you will be successful here. We are very encouraged, as President Woodward has said, at a steady improvement in our retention and graduation rates, which means that we are selecting students who are capable of succeeding in the programs to which they are admitted. Some of you may be transfer students. Briefly, of course, we need transcripts from any college or university that you may have attended previous to the University of Hartford. And we'll only ask for a high school transcript if you have basically less than 1 year of college. If you have completed a full year of college as a full-time student, in all likelihood, your high school transcript and test scores, if you wanted to submit them, would not be required. Grades of C- or better are generally transferred. And this is an opportunity for me to tell you for high school seniors who are taking courses while you're in high school. If you have taken college classes at a community college or another college or university through an early college program in your high school, send that transcript. And generally speaking, college credit for college level courses with a grade of C- or higher will be awarded, along with AP credit, CLEP credit, and a few other opportunities. Financial assistance is certainly an important thing to consider when you are looking at colleges and universities. And if you will allow me to say this, at this early stage on the 26th of September, you should be looking for a college that fits your needs. How big is it? Does it have your major? Where is it located? Who goes there? You know, all those kinds of questions that you're asking. And certainly for the University of Hartford, I would ask that you trust us to work with you in a financial aid program where we partner with you and your family to make the University of Hartford an affordable choice. The reason I can say that with confidence is more than 90% of our students are receiving financial assistance directly from the University of Hartford. That makes it possible for them to afford a private higher education where nearly all of your classes are going to have 29 or fewer students in them. If you look at the slide, you'll see that merit scholarships that are offered for academic, artistic, musical, athletic scholarships are available and awarded to our students. These scholarships can range up to the full cost of tuition. And for the academic awards, you need to do nothing more than submit your application for admission and your supporting documents. All applicants for admission are considered for merit scholarships. And when we add merit scholarships with other sources of financial aid this past year, our students were receiving, on average, some received more, some received less, but on average, a financial aid package of over $27,000. What that does is it makes the University of Hartford, in terms of cost, competitive not only with other private universities, but also with many public universities, particularly ones where you are applying as an out-of-state student. So please, if you are interested in the University of Hartford, submit your application, file the FAFSA, which can be done starting the end of next week, October 1st, and let us work with you to put together a financial aid package that will help make it possible for you to join us here. Before I get too much further into this, in just a few minutes, I'm going to take the opportunity to answer your questions. So if you have been asking questions through the Q&A function, that's great. Go ahead and submit them, line them up, and I will answer as many of them as we have time for before you go on to the next event in the program. Campus tours. As I told you, once again, 2 o'clock on Wednesdays, you can be toured around the campus by Kalia, but we have a fantastic group of other tour guides who will be happy to show you around the campus. Parents have told us and students have told us that we are one of the few colleges and universities that are giving live campus tours where you'll go into the student union, you'll go into the residence halls, you'll go into the library, and you'll be safe doing it at the same time. So you can do that. You can use and participate in interactive virtual tours that we offer regularly. And you can find a way to sign up for any of those on the admission website. If you come to the campus tour, I try my best to come out and meet every single family that that comes. So if you do come in the coming weeks, let me know that you were part of this event today, so we can so you can tell me about it, and we have a starting point for our conversation. My colleague Colette has been collecting up questions, and looks like we've got a few minutes, Colette, to answer a few questions if there are any for us.
Yes, there are. Some questions that we're getting are about our early action application process. Specifically, does that apply to all of our majors? And if a student is admitted through that process, are they required to attend?
Great question. Let me do the second part first. This is what's called, you know, there's lots of terminology that's thrown around in college admissions for which there is no reason why you should be familiar with it. No one was born knowing how to do college admissions. One of them is binding early admission, binding early action, non-binding can be confusing. So let me explain this in as direct and easy a way as possible. We offer an early action deadline of November 15th. As I think I said earlier, if you submit your application, Common App or web app, by November 15th, we will get back to you quickly. I can assure you of that. Often it is as quickly as 2 weeks from the time that we get your supporting documents so that we can actually review your application. It is for all majors. However, some of them have additional requirements, and specifically, if you are a prospective student for the Hart School, in most of their majors, you will have to either do an audition or an interview. And if you're an applicant for the Hartford Art School, you'll need to provide a portfolio review. But you can still submit by November 15th, save some money on application and audition fees, depending on how quickly you submit your portfolio or audition, can mean that you'll still get a quick answer on admission, and in many cases, in most cases, on merit scholarships for which you may qualify. Second part of the question is easy to answer. We will give you that offer quickly, and we will ask that by next May 1st, 2021, that you let us know whether or not you're going to be joining us. So it is non-binding. There really is no downside to this. You get a quick answer. There's no application fee. You have till next May to answer. There's no reason not to use that offer that we're throwing your way. What else, Colette?
Question about early college credits and what the process is for students who might have some credits to transfer in.
Okay, great. So if your credits are coming from another college or university, a community college, there are many school systems that have college credit bearing courses that are taught in the high school. Any college credit from any accredited college or university in the country will be considered for transfer if you will submit a transcript from that institution. So if you are a student on Long Island and your high school has an arrangement with Syracuse University to give you credit for a course that you took in high school, we need a transcript from, in that instance, Syracuse, to transfer the credit, or a community college. And again, it would be hard for me to envision a college level course that you would get from an accredited college or university that wouldn't give you transfer credit. If you're taking AP courses in high school, on our website is a complete table of what scores are required and what coursework we will give you credit for here and exempt you from taking. Generally speaking, the majority of AP credit is awarded on AP exam grades of 3 or higher. Some require 4, but the majority require 3. If you are a student in an international baccalaureate program, there are opportunities to get credit through the IB program. And if you're a French student who happens to be with us today and you are in the French baccalaureate, you can get credit for that too. Also, there is a test called the CLEP, C-L-E-P, College Level Examination Program. Some of you have heard of it, many haven't. It is an exam that you can take, and I have seen students, the expression is, I clept out of my freshman year in college. Not everybody can claim the entire year, but most students who take the CLEP exam, where you can get information from your counselors, will find that they can get credit for coursework in your freshman year through that exam. One more?
Sure, here's an interesting one. How would you describe a Hartford student in 3 to 5 words? What do you think makes them different from students at similar schools?
Oh my gosh, that's what you're gonna give me as the last question?
It is, yes.
3 to 5 words?
No, it's probably not easy for you.
Oh, really? No, it's not easy. Okay, smart, caring, amazing, active, successful. How's that? With no warning that was coming, there's 5 words that describe students at the University of Hartford. I don't know if I trust Colette with another question. I'm teasing. You have another quick one? I don't know whether, we have a break coming before you get to talk to our students, but we can do another one. Go ahead, Colette.
Okay, let me see. Recommendation letters. The student is specifically a transfer student, but maybe you can just speak in general about any advice you have on the types of recommendation letters that are most helpful, and also topics for the college essay.
Yeah, if you were a transfer student, it would be great to get a recommendation letter from a professor that you had in your field of study. Now, if your field of study is something that comes, later in the program, off the top of my head, I could envision a student who wants to major in physical therapy, who hasn't taken a physical therapy course yet, but you have taken biology, you have taken chemistry. That would be great. The personal statements, I've read some amazing personal statements from students who have written about accomplishments that they have realized, whether those are athletic accomplishments, whether those are artistic, whether those are in a community based activity or organization of which you're a part, or sometimes it's just letting us know what you think about something. you know? So that really, I hate to restrict you on that. We also would like to know, I often ask students when they're coming for the tour, and the way I usually phrase it is, well, how did the University of Hartford get on your radar screen? I would love to know if you are, you know, from, in fact, I got a message today from a student in Nome, Alaska, way up there, who told me that she was going to be on the call today. And immediately my question was, Nome, Alaska, that's above the Arctic Circle. How on earth did we get on your radar screen, and what is it you want to study? So, you know, you all are amazing students as we get to know you in the application process. And I can't imagine that, that there aren't many things about yourself that we would find interesting to read about. So think about that a little bit, but you know, write about something that's special to you. 154.
Yeah, I think that's all the time we have for the live question and answer. However, if keep the questions coming, we are answering them within the Q&A portal as well, and we'll continue to do so. So thank you again for the questions that you submitted.
Colette, before you sign off, we're going to take a little 5-minute break, I guess. What's their next activity? It's with the students, right? The student panel?
Mm-hmm. Student panel.
Okay, it's going to be great. And Kalia will be part of the student panel Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Go on her tour. Okay, thanks so much for being with us today. I wish I could see you in front of me in Lincoln Theater, but there'll be time for that as the year unfolds. Thanks.
All righty. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the student panel portion of our fall open house event. My name is Nate. I'm one of the assistant directors of admission here at the university, and I work specifically with students who are from Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. So if you're from any of those areas, touch base with me. I love having a face to an email or a name to an email, and I'd be happy to help kind of with whatever I can throughout the process. So with no further ado, you guys are not here for me. You're all here for the wonderful student panel we were able to put together to help answer some of the questions you folks might have about student life on campus. So with no further ado, I will hand it over to Kayla to introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Kayla Ciccarelli. I am a senior here. I am an EHP, so I'm in elementary special education. So I live in North Haven, Connecticut, so that's about 45 minutes away from campus, but this semester I do live on campus. And some of the organizations I am part of besides Red Key is Greek Life Planning Committee. Dreams Are Real, so that's like a club where we raise money for children in the hospitals. And then Green Team, which is actually a club that a couple of me and my friends had started here on campus. So being environmentally friendly.
Next up, we have Cam. Cam, would you like to come introduce yourself?
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Cam. I'm from Paxton, Mass. So that's about like 5 minutes outside of Worcester. I'm a double major in ceramics and art history. And yeah, outside of Red Key, I'm part of the Women's Rugby Club and the Clay Club on campus.
Hey everybody, my name is Trey. I'm a senior audio engineering technology major at the College of Engineering, Technology and Architecture, otherwise known as CETA. I'm from Rochester, New York, so I sit like right in between Syracuse and Buffalo. And I'm a part of all those various clubs listed below, particularly AES, which is our Audio Engineering Society. And we technically plan a trip to go to the worldwide convention that's held every year in New York, but because of Corona this year, it'll be virtual, but that's always like a big thing for us audio engineers.
Thanks, Trey. Next, we have Camden.
Hello, everybody. My name is Camden. I'm currently a junior, part of the Architectural Design plus Technology major. I am also currently minoring in business management as well. I'm from Wallingford, Connecticut, which is about 40 minutes from campus. I have some experience being part of AIAS. I've also been a part of a lot of community service here on campus, so any questions about that, please let me know. And I've also been a commuter for 2 years, so if you're considering the commuter lifestyle, I've definitely got to talk to. And yeah, so just let me know if you guys got any questions.
Go ahead, Donovan.
All right, howdy y'all. My name is Donovan Eaton. I am a junior from Bethel, Connecticut, dual majoring in criminal justice and psychology. In addition to being a Red Key and on the executive board for the Red Key Society as the director of scheduling, I am also an RA for first-year students on campus, as well as the vice president of our Residence Hall Association. In years past, I was previously involved in student government, as well as being an ambassador for the College of Arts and Sciences, and I am a part of the Faith Fellowship Church and Protestant Campus Ministry on campus.
Thank you, Donovan. And last but not least is Mary.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary. I'm a sophomore here and I'm a physical therapy major, and I'm also minoring in international business here at UHart. And I'm from Watertown, Massachusetts. It's like 15 minutes out from Boston. I'm involved in Delight Club here on campus, and I'm also part of Greek Life as well.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. I just want to remind everyone that you can drop any questions you have for these students in the Q&A section. But I'm going to throw the first question out to Mary, since she was the most recent one to go through the process. Can you tell us a little bit, Mary, about what it was about the University of Hartford that stood out when you were looking at colleges?
Okay, so what stood out to me about the University of Hartford was that when I came on campus, I automatically saw that the residential side and the academic side were on two separate sides, and it's connected by a bridge. And that just made me feel so homey, because when I'm on the residential side, I don't want to think about school. So that was a big plus for me. And then I also saw that everyone was super nice around me. Everyone was holding doors and everything. Everyone just seemed super duper sweet. So that was also a big plus. I just saw that everyone felt so connected here. So that was one thing that stood out to me that I didn't see in any other schools. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. We did have one question come in that I'm just going to answer quick because it's more of an admission-based question. Someone wanted to know if their personal statement can be an essay on their prized possession, and that is an absolute yes. It's a good opportunity for us to just see a little bit more about who you are as a person. If your most prized possession is a good way for us to see that, that is perfectly acceptable. We just want to understand a little bit more about what makes you tick as a person and how the University of Hartford can help you reach your goals. And if that's how you feel best to express that, more power to you. So Trey, the first question here, I'm going to dish over to you. Someone wants to know if you have to be a major in the audio engineering program to join the Audio Engineering Society.
So no, you don't actually have to be part of the audio major to be a part of AES. Just like multiple clubs here on campus, you don't have to be in a particular major to join certain clubs that are involved in certain majors. So it's open to literally anybody. Like you can be a business major, an art major, anything like that, and you can join AES. As long as you have an interest or want to learn more about audio and different technologies involved, it is completely open for you to join.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey. So while we're waiting for some more questions to flow in here, this came up as an idea to talk about earlier, and it's a lot of fun to kind of hear you guys express it a little bit. But one of the things that stands out to us as we look at our student panel here is all their backgrounds and how different they are. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about where you're streaming from right now, what building you're in, and kind of how fun it's been to adjust to doing a lot of things from behind your computer screen? Kayla, do you want to start?
Hi guys, so currently I am in the village, so I'm in quad 3. So behind me, this is my room. So being virtual is definitely a little bit of a change, but it's definitely has opened up a lot of more opportunities to figure out how to connect to people in different ways, especially being an education major. I am working a lot in the school system with kids, so it's coming up with creative ways while keeping those bonds still alive and making you feel like you're actually being able to communicate with other people. So it's honestly been a pretty great experience, and I've had a lot of more times to kind of branch out to people that I barely see, like by texting, FaceTiming, or even through classes with professors. There is more time, screen time like this, what we're doing right now. So it's been good, and a lot of people have been going outside more here on campus. So that has definitely been a lot nicer to see people out and just kind of doing their own thing and connecting with them on a one-to-one basis.
Thank you, Kayla.
Of course.
Cam?
Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment. I'm actually completely remote, so I'm at my house in Massachusetts. But yeah, like I obviously wish I was on campus because I do miss like seeing my friends and being able to like give tours and stuff. But I definitely have come to learn to have like an appreciation for the online classes. A lot of my classes are really structured well, and I feel like I'm still kind of getting that one-on-one time with my professors, even though we're kind of, you know, talking through a screen or I'm just seeing them through a screen. It's really nice. I actually get to have like conversations with them after class, with just like me and a couple of friends. So yeah.
Thanks, Cam. Trey, where are you joining us from?
I am on campus in my great room in ACOMP. So I am on the freshman side of campus since I am a freshman RA, so specifically in Andrews. As for adjusting to online classes, we kind of got, after spring break, we went all online, so that was definitely a major switch for me. And it's easier to be on campus and be online than it is to be home and be online. Because at least when you're at school, it helps your mindset to at least you're at the actual college and keeps you in that mindset you have work to do versus being at home and just that level of just being comfortable. But overall, I am adjusting pretty well.
Thanks, Trey. How about you, Camden?
So I am in Park River, west more specifically. It's a fantastic place to be living, but in reality, this room has really just become my workspace. And yeah, I mean, right here, I'm just kind of like working on this bad boy, or at least I have been. So, I mean, again, you know, even with these online classes, I've still found a lot of opportunity to really enjoy my time in my room. Me and my roommate all the time will just kind of like, you know, either start working out or whatever the case may be. Maybe we'll bake some cookies, because even though we are kind of in here a lot, it's still nice because, you know, you have people you can still kind of interact with. So, and especially with these online classes too, seeing people like Cam, who is in Massachusetts right now. Like, I haven't seen her in who knows how long, but it's always good to kind of, you know, see people however you can.
Thanks, Camden. How about you, Donovan?
So like Trey, I am also an RA for first year students. So I'm coming to you from Willard, which is in our C neighborhood. And with regards to the transition to online classes, it was definitely a jarring one. It wasn't something that any of us were expecting, but there's a saying that the Coast Guard has, Semper Gumby, which is always flexible. And if anything, this situation that we find ourselves in has taught us to be flexible. It's helped us to improve upon our adaptability and our ability to kind of, change with the times and, adapt and overcome. And, I haven't found classes to be any less engaging. Just as we've adjusted and we've been flexible and we've adapted, so too have the professors and others in the profession of, furthering our education. So teachers with online classes still find ways to make it engaging. And at that, I'm fortunate enough to have some classes in person as well. So kind of having that balance between online classes and in-person classes has definitely helped to facilitate my education.
Awesome. Last but not least, Mary.
Hi, so I'm in Park River. I live on the west side as well. I'm on the 4th floor, so it's a lot of stairs, but there's an elevator, so that's nice. Online classes for me has been a lot less drastic, I feel like, because my classes are mostly hybrid and I do have in-person labs still. So I feel like I still have a very good balance of both. It's been like a sort of slower transition. It's not just all online. So I really like that. But even my online classes, they're hybrid. So once a week I meet in person, once a week I meet online. And it's been really nice to do it that way, because then I can get up and move one day, and then the other day I'm at my desk. I don't even have to go outside and walk to my class. So I've been liking it so far.
Awesome. Thank you. And that worked out excellent because you folks were starting to drop some questions in. So the first one I have here, the next question I have here is for Trey. Did you know that you wanted to major in some form of engineering when you started at Hartford? And if so, what made you choose Hartford?
So actually, I did not want to major in engineering. I wanted to do more of music production. So just to give a little bit of context, I went to a performing arts high school, which I had to audition to get into. And I just didn't want to pursue my instrument on a collegiate level, which is why I didn't apply to Hart, because you had to apply, and their music production major is great, might I say. I just didn't want to audition. So it was a personal preference. So then with CETA, I didn't have to audition, and it still incorporated music production, but just more from a technical side, which I actually have grown to love. It's kind of what I want to do now, is more of technology work and engineering work. And actually for my senior capstone, I'm actually designing and building a guitar amplifier as well. So yeah, major switch from high school me to college me. What was the second part of the question? Unless I covered it all.
Nope, that was pretty much it.
Solid.
Oh, actually, no, you know what? You're right. They wanted to know what it was about Hartford that stood out. What made you choose it?
So being from where I'm from, I definitely wanted to move further away from home. And coming to UHart is not that far away. It's a 5-hour drive, but it's not like on the west side of the country. So it's still close to home. And it still has like a homey feel. Like you get to, once I came here twice on 2 tours actually. And by that second tour, I kind of made up in my mind that UHart was where I wanted to be, just based off of the people and the different stories that were shared and what an open house is.
Great. Thanks, Trey.
Yep.
Next, I'm going to bring in Kayla again. Someone wants to know a little bit more about Greek life on campus, if you could speak to that.
Hi. So Greek life, there are 6 sororities and 6 fraternities here on campus. So Greek life, to rush, you can't rush until your spring semester of freshman year. So you take that fall semester just to kind of get acclimated to the University of Hartford campus. And then once you are able to rush, you are able to then go through the process. And honestly, it's just been a great experience. I personally, and I bet Donovan can add a little bit to it if he needs to or wants to chime in. There's just been so many leadership opportunities that I personally have picked up. I'm also part of the Greek Life Planning Committee. So that is basically things that we just plan for Greek life on itself. And we also hold a bunch of philanthropy events for every single chapter, both fraternity and sorority, that anyone is allowed to come to. And we all like support great causes. And it's just basically a fun time to come out. And it's also great because we try to get like the club sports and the athletic teams to come and join our philanthropy events. So it's like this big, great community, and awesome to be part of something bigger than yourself. Even personally for my sorority, there has been national events that like my chapter has gone to support our national and local philanthropy. And it's honestly just been one of the greatest experiences that I personally had in college, and it's something that I really hope and I look forward to, and it just made such an impact on my life being part of a huge sisterhood and having that huge support system. And the other nice thing about being in a sorority, like I'm also part of different things outside of the sorority too. So when you're in Greek life, it just doesn't have to be you're in Greek life and that is it. And even take like Donovan, for example, you can see he has like Red Life, ANS Ambassador, Faith Fellowship Church, of different things that he does outside of Greek life. So it's very like fluid, and you basically get what you put into it. But
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Kayla. That was great. Speaking of Donovan, thanks for the easy segue there. Someone would like to know a little bit more about kind of your plans for after graduation, most specifically due to your major in psychology. And if you could talk about any of your peers' plans that you've spoken to post-graduation with that degree, and what people are doing with that these days.
Yeah, absolutely. So last semester, I had actually been fortunate enough to take a career preparatory course, which I know in high school, there's that distinction between, AP courses, honors courses, college prep, but this career preparatory course was geared towards psychology specifically. And a misconception that a lot of people have is that with a psychology degree, you get pigeonholed into clinical psych, which would be, therapy and things like that. But psychology as a degree is actually one of the most versatile degrees that we offer at the University of Hartford. And you have a myriad of different opportunities to pursue with that psychology degree. Myself specifically, personally, my end goal is to work for the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, and specifically their subdivision for counterterrorism and threat assessment, hence my dual major. So where my psychology degree would come into play would be that behavioral analysis aspect of my intended career. However, there are other people who take the more medical route when it comes to psychology and go into psychiatry. They have their baccalaureate degree here, and then they continue to pursue a master's degree and a doctorate later on down that psychology track. And psychology, it's not just within the medical profession either. You could also use your psychology degree if you were interested in working with children, adolescents, adults with behavioral issues, or things of the like. Or you could pursue clinical psychology and therapy in that route. So there's, again, a lot of different options that you have post-grad when it comes to a psychology degree. Mine is more geared towards criminal justice, behavioral analysis, things like that. But if you have any further questions, then please let me know.
Thanks, Donovan. Cam, I'm going to hop over to you quick. We had a question about, the digital art program and whether or not it's beneficial to have, a lot of experience in those programs when entering the Hartford Art School.
Yeah, so it definitely it helps if you do have experience, but at the same time, you don't have to know a lot about it. I personally came in as a painting and illustration major, and I switched to ceramics, which I had never done before my freshman year. So you don't need to have like all the experience or even any experience to decide that's what you want to major in. They'll help you kind of get acclimated into the program. There's a lot of people that are kind of in the same boat as me that have never done ceramics before or have never done like digital art before and stuff. So you really don't need a lot of experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Cam. Trey, I'm going to throw this one over to you. What are the residence halls like? All floor bathrooms, studio style, anything specific or cool about the dorms? Just kind of anything talking about the res life piece and those first year housing options.
So first year housing options, there are two major housing options. So there are the neighborhoods, which are A, B, C, and D, which myself and Donovan live in. And then there's Hawk Hall. And then that's more of like a newer style dorm setting. But all in all, the bathrooms are all the same. So you have like 2 showers, 2 stalls, 2 sinks. They, in their basements, and then for Hawk Hall, they're just on the floor. They have different community areas. So that allows everybody in the building and on the floor to really get to know each other in a group setting. Sorry, they're cutting the grass. And I personally love the basements in A Comp and in C or D Comp. I can't remember which one has it. They were just recently remodeled, and they are great for really different community building activities, as well as just to spend time with everybody on your floor in your dorm to really get to know each other. But all in all, I prefer freshman housing to where I lived last year. So it's a different feeling on this side.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey.
Yeah.
Kayla, someone wants to know about the education programs and how early in school you start in classrooms.
Hi. Sorry, my screen got all messed up. So you start as early as your first semester here on campus. So as an education major, you'll come in, you'll have a couple of classes, and they'll usually start you 3 to 4 weeks in your first semester as a freshman. So it kind of progresses out your 4 years. So your freshman and sophomore year, you'll only be going during the fall semester, so you'll kind of have the spring off. Your freshman year, you have 1 placement. You go once or twice a week. Then your sophomore year, you'll have 2 placements in the fall, and you'll visit 1 placement, like both placements, once a week. And then once you get into your junior year, you're going to be in your placement both fall and spring semester. They do change, so you will have different placements, but you'll be there like at least twice, 2 or 3 times a week. And when you're there, you're kind of like observing the teacher, learning from them, and get to understand what it's like from the teacher's perspective, just because you've been a student for so long. So you kind of get to see the other side of things. So it's a really cool transition. And then your senior year, which I'm doing right now, is student teaching. So you're going to be in your placement every single day, Monday through Friday. Your first semester, you're going to be there for half days. And then your second semester, which will be the spring, you're there for full days. No matter what education major you do go into, because we do have a couple different ones, they try to place you so you can see from elementary, middle, and high school, just so you can kind of get that experience and see if you're really interested with the age group that you choose to work with. And then after your 4 years here, they set you up for success so you can pass all your exams to get your certification within the state of Connecticut.
Thank you, Kayla. Appreciate that. Cam, we have a question here that I think you can relate to best. How difficult is it for you as a completely distant student not on campus to complete your work while not having access or direct access to the school facilities?
Yeah, so definitely it's it is a bit of a challenge. Like I do, when I'm on campus, I do use like the library facilities and stuff to work and everything. But honestly, I haven't been having that much difficulty with getting access to resources. I've actually been in really great touch with both of my advisors for my majors. I talk to them at least like once or twice a week, just kind of talking to them about like the spring semester and everything. So definitely making sure that the communication is open helps with those resources, because it is out there for completely remote learning students. I know a lot of people that I'm friends with that are also doing completely remote learning. But I do know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the library has like a live chat feature. So if you have any questions about like books or with like tutoring and stuff, you can ask them about it, and they can like give you resources for that. But I think definitely keeping in contact with your advisors and just talking to them if you have any issues about the semester and about learning and everything, I think is definitely your best bet.
Awesome. Thank you, Cam. Trey, I got a couple of questions here for you. One is, sorry, it's traffic rolling by. What is the gospel choir like, and is it more difficult to get in when you are not a music major?
Gospel choir is great, might I say. Yeah, gospel choir is excellent. So no, actually, you don't even have to sing. You don't even have to know like the difference between a C and a G to be in gospel choir, honestly. There's no audition, but you just sign up, show up to rehearsals, and it just kind of flows from there. It's kind of an extension from the Faith Fellowship Church. Pastor Gary definitely comes in here and there to chit chat with us and then share different lessons, as well as the choir director definitely helps out a lot. Because after rehearsal, we kind of just talk about our week or how we want to plan our week ahead. And he's actually choir director at a church directly down the street. So that definitely helps as well. So we do different things with them also. And it's just another great way to really start your week off, because we rehearse on Monday nights. So typically nobody really likes Mondays, but I look forward to Mondays just to go to gospel choir, not even to sing, just to fellowship with everybody. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Trey. Mary, someone wants to know what is something that you think is unique to UHeart. They did ask specifically for you, so I'm going to give you the reins there.
So something that I think is really unique about Hartford is how easy it is to be friends with people out of your major. My roommate, for example, freshman year was an architecture major, and I've never really picked up a pen and pencil to draw before in my life, and that's all she ever did, which was really cool to see. So that was definitely one thing that I found super unique about Hartford. And it doesn't just end at that. I had friends in completely different schools, and that's actually what made me minor in international business. So now I'm taking a lot of classes in Barney, and that's not even my school. I'm in ENHP. So it really benefited me in that way.
Well, since you mentioned ENHP, Mary, you have also been asked, what made you choose the UHeart PT program compared to other college programs?
Okay, so the UHeart PT program, I chose it because at first it's a 4+3 program. So you get accepted into the University of Hartford ENHP PT program doing a 4+3 program. And most schools, it's a 3+3, and that's very, very vigorous. And usually if you can't get into that, you don't get into the program at all, and you don't get to do a 4+3. So I really liked that UHeart, you can get in, and then you can decide if you want to do a 3+3, and that's what I ultimately decided to do. So I'm in the process of doing a 3+3 program now here. And also, if you look at the prices, UHeart's grad school is significantly cheaper than most other schools that I've looked at, but that was just in my experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. Donovan, we're going to come to you for a couple of Res Life first year student questions. Really just talking a little bit about how residence hall life is, how roommates are assigned, if you can touch on that. And then where's the other one there? Someone asked about how is it, do you find that the first year students are engaging themselves with each other, or is it hard to draw them out and get them to socialize?
All right, so there's a lot to unpack there. What was the first part of that?
Yeah, talk about just the res life vibe really on campus.
Okay, so specifically, I guess when it comes to the first year residence halls, I'm biased. I will say that because I lived in Hawk Hall my freshman year and I was an RA there last year. Hawk Hall, I found, is, it's similar to the dichotomous nature of the campus itself. It has an open floor plan, so the layout is akin to just one long hallway, and that is, very open, but at the same time very close knit. You're living right next to and across from tons of people, or at least you had in years past, and it's still in very much the same way now, despite COVID. And when it comes to the neighborhoods, it's a more, I guess, close, quiet atmosphere. But res life itself, campus life is always lively. We always say that UHart is not a suitcase school. There's always something to do on weekends. People don't just pack up and leave. And I'm trying to think when it comes to the other things. Roommate selection. So when I was a freshman, my roommate and I were randomly paired together. We didn't seek each other out. UHart kind of, I guess, matches or tries to closely match personality types. So there'll be, kind of a questionnaire that you fill out about, the temperature that you like your room kept at and what kind of music you like to listen to, whether or not you like your room kept clean or, you're not too much of a stickler for that. Just general things like that to kind of assess how you operate in your living space, and they would pair you accordingly. Or you could come with somebody from your high school, or just somebody that is going to be attending UHart as well, and you guys could request to be roommates, and in which case UHart would take that into consideration. I know Zemi, the platform that we've been using all throughout today, is definitely a newcomer on the scene, but that I would assume is also another way that you could meet somebody and decide to become roommates through. There had also in years past been Facebook groups that people have utilized in order to find people who are going to be attending the University of Hartford, prospective students who you might want to pair with and become roommates with. And as far as first year student engagement, that I would say is all dependent on personality types. However, there are a myriad of ways in which first year students can put themselves out there. So we actually just wrapped up our club fair that lasted for the entirety of a week, in which, different days held different tables that had different clubs and things that people could get involved in. It was held for 4 hours during the midday. So anybody who was in passing to class would be able to, stop by any booths that piqued their interest. And it's just a way that the university kind of facilitates that opportunity for people to put themselves out there and get engaged. Otherwise, students within the residence halls can kind of get to know each other. I remember freshman year, I was still in the process of setting up my room with my roommate, and I got a knock on my door, and it was people who lived on my floor. And they said, hey, it's college. It's not weird to walk up and just introduce yourselves and try to make friends right off the bat. And so you're going to have those people who are extroverted enough to do that. And yeah, as far as first year student engagement goes, there's a ton of ways in which you can get engaged and get involved. And I would honestly say that is my biggest piece of advice is putting yourself out there and getting involved, because UHart has a ton to get involved in.
Thanks, Donovan. Cam, it's been pretty quiet on your front, so I'm gonna bring you back or Camden, sorry, let me specify. I always forget that we have two Cams here. So Camden, why don't you talk a little bit about campus-wide events and different things that go on to keep students busy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's a lot going on. Specifically right now, like we were kind of mentioning, it's kind of tough because a lot of people are cooped up in their rooms. It's really just tough to really interact with others. But some of the many activities we do, one of them being Food Truck Fridays, has been a huge thing. People love the idea of, just going getting some food, other than the Commons, which is the main dining hall here on campus, or Moe's or Subway. But what's even better, of course, it's got some incentive. The first 150, depending on, how they're feeling for the night, they all get their stuff free for the first 150. So there's a lot of different, things you can get active in. Of course, like you probably have already heard of, we have over 400 performances from the Hartford, from the Hart School as well. So there's a lot there they could always go to. Me personally, I've been to a few things. Like there's been, given this isn't directly connected to Hart, but there's been a lot of great activities like open mic nights I've been to, which are always great. You see people who may not even be part of Hart, just showcasing their talents. And there's in Hawk's Nest, which is another place to get some food here on campus. We like to call it like a bar and grill minus the bar, but what's nice about there is that one night I walked in and it was jazz night. I mean, at the time I wasn't the biggest fan of jazz, but it's, there's always something for you to do, and there's, you may just stumble upon things by accident, honestly. And furthermore, sports games too. The basketball team is huge here on campus with First Flight and everything. It's truly one of like the most exciting things here. Same thing for baseball, softball. Those are big ones here on campus too. So if you're ever feeling bored, normally you can just go to any of those events, find something to do. We're constantly getting emails too about new events happening on campus through UNotes. So different things like those Food Truck Fridays, sporting events, Hart with their many performances every year. So there's a lot for you to do. And there's just such a wide variety too. So if for some reason you're not feeling one thing, you can go to the other thing. Because again, the open mic night, I just want to emphasize, again, it's just something that people just kind of come together for. That's what a lot of these events are. It's just, they can be casual as ever, people just hanging out on, say, the green, or hanging out in front of the lawns, in front of the quads. But there is just a lot for the students to be active in here on campus.
Thanks, Camden. Trey, I'm going to tag you back in here since your list of activities that you have on the slide here is pretty extensive. Somebody wants to know what it's like trying to balance all your classes and all your extracurricular activities.
Yeah, tis quite, it depends. For me, honestly, I don't really have that much trouble just because I've just been a structured and organized person from the jump, thanks to my lovely mother. So honestly, as long as you keep a good calendar and keep up with everything, set reminders and things like that, it never becomes too much. I always said everything I have to do, I give myself a 15-minute reminder, just so I don't lose track of it. Because specifically, like the week past Thursday was a very hectic day. There were just things back to back to back to back to back. But I made it through. You just kind of got to push through and get it done. And there's always one thing throughout the day that you look forward to. So as long as you can cross everything else off your list to get to that one thing, it makes the day worthwhile. So yeah, just time management and organization go a long way in college. So yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey. Donna, we got another question for you. What are your average class sizes right now in your psych courses?
So I'm just going to throw a couple of these tour guide plugs in there. The average student faculty ratio on campus is 9-to-1. That being said, the average class sizes on campus are about 20 to 25, with Hilliard being the exception of about 13 to 18, boasts a smaller class size. But when it comes to psychology programs, they do fall within that 20 to 25 student range. Even with online classes, my psych courses still range between 20 and 25 students. So, no matter where you go, no matter what college you're a part of, what program you're a part of, what majors you have, you're going to be a part of more student-centered class sizes in which you are a name and not just another number, and you're going to have more personalized instruction from your professors.
Thanks, Donovan. Mary, we got another question for you in your PT schedule. What's it like? Is it a busy schedule, a lot of labs, a lot of assignments? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so for your PT schedule, your freshman year will mostly be your gen ed classes, but as far as labs go, you will probably have 2 labs a semester on average. You might have 1. that you might just have one. I have friends that might have three as well, but usually if you plan it around your schedule and plan out all your years, you will have 2 labs per semester. And it's not too hard to manage all of them. You'll have to take, I think it is 3 chemistry classes, 2 physics classes, 1 intro to bio class. And then when you get towards the end, like your 3rd year of PT, the classes will be a lot smaller, and it will just be your PT majors, because they're all of those classes are only for PT here. So those classes will be more directed towards your major. So that's really nice. But as for your first 2 years, they will be more gen ed classes, and I would say 2 labs per semester.
Awesome. Thanks, Mary. Cam, I'm going to call on you next. Somebody asked about the environment at UHart for students who identify as part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of things that we have. We have an LGBTQ plus club on campus. It's called Spectrum. So if you're, interested in talking to people within the LGBTQ plus community, you can certainly join that. I know within the career services, they did, I'm trying to think, last year, so they do they do resume boot camps and all that stuff, trying to help you find jobs and internships and stuff. And they actually did one specifically within the LGBTQ plus community. And they focused on trying to build your resume up, how to find jobs when you're in that community and everything. So they're really supportive. I personally have never had an issue. I am part of the LGBTQ plus community. I've personally never had an issue on campus with people being kind of closed-minded or anything. A lot of people in the art school are part of that community. A couple people on the rugby team are, and we're all just really supportive of everyone and really welcoming. So
Awesome. Thank you, Cam. Questions are starting to die down, so I'm going to do another last call for questions. So anything you have that didn't get answered by our students yet, feel free to drop in the Q&A. In the meantime, I like to end with this question. It's just one that always pops into my head. But starting with Kayla, can you all talk about one experience that you had at the University of Hartford during your time so far that you did not expect to get when you started looking at the school?
I had so many experiences. It's hard just to choose one. So again, I'm an education major. So one day for one of my classes, we had a mother come in and just talk about her experience, what it's like to have a child with a disability, and her what she had to go through with the school, both positive and negative, to advocate for her child. So she was talking about just her child, and then she started talking about a camp that her child went to, and I was looking for a summer job. So I ended up talking to the teacher and getting this woman's contact information. And then I ended up working for the family. So I'm a personal care assistant for the family. And the company that I work through is called United. So I talked to the company a lot and my caseworker, and it kind of just went up from there. So now I'm a personal care assistant, and now this company United is inquiring about a future job position after I graduate to either become a case manager or find a different asset within that company, which is pretty cool. And I never thought I would get that opportunity, and it was pretty awesome for my professor to help me make that connection to kind of pursue what I wanted to do in life, because I'm interested in working with adults with either intellectual or physical disabilities. So that kind of was straight up my avenue, and it was a really great opportunity. It still is, and it's just been an awesome experience.
Awesome. Great, Kayla. Cam, how about you?
So mine is not going to be as amazing as Kayla's. Hers is pretty cool. But one opportunity that I did get, that I didn't think I was going to like even be a part of was this past, I think it was June, for orientation. I actually was contacted by the assistant dean to the Hartford Art School, and he asked me and two other students if we wanted to be part of a student panel for the orientation session, just kind of talking about the art school and being like representatives of the school itself, and just kind of talking about our experiences and welcoming the incoming class. So that was really interesting, and it was honestly really great to be a part of that, because you know there's hundreds of kids in the art school, and I got chosen by someone in the I got chosen by one of my old professors, so that was really interesting and really fun to do.
Awesome. Thanks, Cam. Trey?
So going back to AES real quick. So like I was saying about the convention that's held yearly in New York City. So my sophomore year, no, actually junior year, last year. When we went to New York for the convention, I never even knew that the convention existed until I even came to UHeart. And I mean, everybody in the industry is a part of that convention. So they were all in New York City for it. So I got to meet a lot of different people that I never thought I would have met. I met Grandmaster Flash. I met most of Prince's recording engineers, which is a nice thing. I've also met the recording engineers for Jay-Z and Kanye. I actually got to sit down and talk to them. So I never would have even been able to connect with these people if it wasn't for UHeart and their connection to the convention, which of course we got discounted. So that's always a plus. So yeah, that's definitely one experience that I never would have had if I wouldn't have came to UHeart.
Awesome. Camden?
So one experience I did not expect to have such a strong impact on me was we do offer trips called alternate spring breaks. Kayla's familiar with it. She was actually somebody I went on this trip with. So this is something that, going into it, I was very hesitant. It was something with like 26 strangers pretty much. I was a freshman. I really had no idea what to expect. We actually took our trip down to North Carolina. We absolutely lucked out with where we were and all that kind of stuff. We were right by the beach, but it had really just fostered this environment for connections. And again, 26 strangers, Kayla was one of them. I really did not know anybody on this trip at all. So when I did go on this trip, meeting all these people, it was just kind of eye-opening to overall what the experience of college is like. The fact that you are just, you're meeting strangers every day, really. There's still people in some of my classes that I may not know, and I can still talk to them like nothing. But with this trip, it was just, it just really was eye-opening to kind of see this is what college is kind of like. And from there on, like right after the trip ended, we were still hanging out at the library all the time and, doing stuff like that. So it really fostered a lot of really interesting connections between me and some other students. But I just did not expect it to have such a profound effect on me.
Yeah, alternative spring break is always a very soul-searching trip. It's always a good one for students to take part in. I did it myself when I was in school as well. So I always recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it. But Donovan, how about you?
Yeah, so I kind of echo Kayla's sentiment from the start about how it's kind of hard to pinpoint just one. But kind of speaking to Camden's effect, honestly, it's not even an extravagant experience. It's just college itself has been an experience that I didn't think that I would have. My intention in high school was actually to enlist in the Marine Corps, but due to a medical condition that I have, I was disqualified from the entirety of the military. So college itself wasn't something that I had planned on attending. But as soon as I came here, I, met with strangers. I, got some of the closest friends that I've ever had and who I know will be friends for the rest of my life. And, UHeart has given me so much in that, they helped to facilitate and foster a newfound interest and a newfound, passion when it comes to my career path. Freshman year, there were actually FBI agents that came to campus and they put on a presentation about, what kind of jobs the FBI entails and kind of, what you can expect post-grad as far as prior job experience and your likelihood of getting into some certain summer programs and stuff like that. So, just the fact that UHart was able to bring in FBI agents to talk to that effect and to actually intermingle with college students was something that I never thought that I would have the experience of.
Great. No pressure following that one up, Mary, but those are 5 good experiences. What do you got for us?
Those were really good experiences. Okay, so for me, my freshman year was cut short, so we did get sent home, but I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. So throughout it, I just met a bunch of people. UHart made that super, super easy. I met so many people, and then going into my sophomore year, I just dove into all the opportunities that I can get my hands on. I'm doing this now. I'm part of this student panel, and this is great. I love it. And I'm also part of Greek Life now too. I rushed this fall, so I'm doing that too. So I'm just really getting into everything now, and I could not be more grateful because I just love all the opportunities that have been presented to me. So adding on to everything that everyone said, going forward, just take all the opportunities that you can get, because that's what I'm doing right now, and I have absolutely no regrets.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the student panel. We did just hit our time block. So thank you for all your great questions that you put out throughout the event. Thank you to our student panel for taking the time out of their Saturday to answer these questions for you folks and to give you kind of the perspective of a student leader on campus, just to really make you feel comfortable while you're going through this process. We are going to resume with our next program at 3 o'clock, and you're going to hear from key departments across campus. But in the meantime, there is going to be some ZME programming, so feel free to open that app up, take a peek, join in with some of our other Red Keys who are getting some conversation going for you folks. And I believe there's some trivia coming up, so keep your eyes out for that and enjoy the rest of the program, folks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thanks for joining us. My name is Shane Ciccarelli. I am the Associate Dean of Admission at the University of Hartford. Again, we're so happy for you to be taking the time out of your Saturday to learn more about the University of Hartford and all that we have to offer. We know that these are certainly unusual times, and while this is not our preference in being able to deliver you this information, as we would very much like to have you on our campus, seeing how beautiful it is, interacting with our faculty, our students, our staff. Unfortunately, the circumstances are not allowing that for us right now. So this is the next best thing. It's been a fun and informative morning. We hope or afternoon, I should say, and morning, as we had a wave of students that joined us for the morning session. We hope to continue that this afternoon. And this next portion of our program is called the Resource Round Robin, where I am joined by several of my colleagues at the university representing various departments that are going to share with you information about aspects that affect your student life. We know how important the academic piece is, as far as the majors that you want to pursue, the different academic opportunities that you have during your studies at the university. But you also need to know what your life is going to be like there, and all of the things that impact your mental well-being, your social well-being, and just overall, what your daily life is going to be like and what your experiences are going to be when you're not in classes. So with me today are representatives from our Center for Student Success, our Health and Wellness departments, Residential Life, Study Abroad, Student Engagement and Inclusion, and our Career and Professional Development areas. And again, they are each going to take a brief moment to share with you key features and opportunities that they believe the University of Hartford has to offer all of our students, and what we think you can expect from the university if you should choose to apply and then subsequently join us next fall. I want to remind you that during the session, if you have any questions, please utilize the Q&A feature, and we will be certain to get to those questions both during the presentations, and then in the end, we'll highlight some of the key questions that are out there that apply to everyone. And then following this presentation, we will be moving you on to your specific school, college presentations, where you can learn more about the specific programs of interest and the features of our 7 schools and colleges at the University of Hartford. So without further ado, let's jump right into the Resource Round Robin, and we are going to kick it off with Katie Kitchens and the Center for Student Success.
Thank you so much, Shane. I'm really excited to be here and talk to all of you about the Center for Student Success. So my name is Katie Kitchens, and I am the Director for Student Services and Advising in the CSS, as we call it. You can go to the next slide. I'll talk a little bit about what the Center for Student Success has to offer. So we are really dedicated to helping students bridge that gap from high school to college and navigate a successful transition. So we do that in a lot of different ways. We have some supports built in, and then really we're there to meet whatever needs are coming up for our students as they arise. So our first year advisors act as a coach, an advisor, and an instructor for our first year students when they arrive on campus. We have a first year success seminar that's a 1-credit class that's kind of an introduction to UHeart. It's an introduction to college life, really, and how do you navigate that transition successfully, whether it be academically, socially, interpersonally, using university resources effectively, maintaining close connections with your family back home, you know, everything that students might be struggling with in that first semester. Our student support specialists are there, as well as our advisors, to work with students on anything they might need related to registration, billing, payments. We're really a one-stop shop for students. If you don't know where else to go, come to the CSS, and that goes for all 4 years. And if we don't have the answer, we know exactly where to get it and can help connect you with other places on campus, other faculty and staff that we have our close connections with, to really help you make that transition a lot easier. Our office also runs orientation, and I really look forward to seeing you at orientation this summer. So we do a summer orientation, and then we also do what we call Liftoff, which is a program that we run at the beginning of the move-in weekend, when everybody joins us on campus for the first time after you've moved in. And we also maintain close connections in the CSS with the tutoring center, where we help students get connected to tutors in subject areas where they might need a little extra assistance. So really, I know that's a lot of different things that I've kind of thrown at you that the CSS is here for, but that just goes to show we're really looking to kind of build a connection with the whole student. Whatever the student needs, we are here for. And so we are able to kind of be nimble and agile to help students in whatever way they really need the most at that time.
Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Carlson. I'm the Director of Accessibility Services. We are the office for students with disabilities. So students, if you have a 504 plan or an IEP in high school, you would work with us upon attending the University of Hartford. We provide traditional accommodations for the classroom, and we also offer academic coaching services for our first year students with disabilities to help with that transition from high school to college, as well as general academic support. So if you will be requesting disability accommodations at the University of Hartford, the very first step is to submit documentation of a disability directly to our office after applying to the university, being accepted, and making a decision to attend. Your IEP and 504 is certainly helpful for us to see, but we do need additional documentation as well. Documentation does depend on the nature of the disability, so you're welcome to take a look at our website for more information about our documentation guidelines. And if you ever have any questions about what we're looking for in terms of documentation or the services that we provide specific to you or your student, you're welcome to call us for that. So every June, we begin reviewing the documentation we have received up to that point. After we review a student's documentation, we then contact them directly on their University of Hartford email with more information about setting up an intake appointment. The intake appointment begins anytime, or we begin them anytime after July 1st. And that appointment is really to discuss the nature and impact of the disability and set up accommodations for that student. After we meet with the student for the intake, we create a document called an accommodation letter, which kind of replaces the IEP and the 504. And we send those out to faculty by email each semester. Students do need to request their accommodation letters each semester in order to renew their accommodations. And it's important to note that accommodations don't automatically roll over from high school to college. So the accommodations may look slightly different, and the high school usually won't automatically send a student's documentation to the college unless you request that they do so. So if you have any questions for us, we do phone consultations where we can give you more information about specifics in terms of accommodations that we may be able to provide. And if you have any questions for me, please drop them in the Q&A. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Berta. I'm the Director of Counseling and Psychological Services, also known as CAPS. I'm also a licensed clinical psychologist. I'll do a brief run through of our services, and of course, you're welcome to give me a call or shoot me an email, post some questions in the Q&A if you have any for sure, and I'll do my best to answer. So we're a pretty lean and mean machine over at CAPS. It's myself and 2 other full-time psychologists. We also have a master's level clinician and case manager. We provide individual psychotherapy services for the student body, group therapy as well. We try to do a lot of outreach to the staff and faculty to talk about how to support our students who are struggling and how to identify students of concern with mental health concerns. We also have limited medication management. We have a psychiatrist on staff who may see students who have not had psychotropic medication services in the past. Our services are free in that there's no additional out-of-pocket payments from the students. Our services are covered under tuition. Our services for students who are 18 and over are confidential, like any kind of psychotherapeutic services out there. So, for us to speak with parents or others, we would need a release signed by the student. Real easy to make an appointment. Just email me, call the counseling center, and we'll set you up with a brief initial phone screen to get a sense of what kind of services you're looking for and what you're struggling with. A lot of the referrals come straight to CAPS, and we end up working with individuals. Sometimes students are looking or in need of longer term care. And in those situations, we try to provide the service of getting them connected with a good therapist in the community. With everything COVID nowadays, of course, many of us are online, CAPS included, and so we're doing all telehealth services at the moment. Like everyone else, we're eager to get back to the in-person services, but right now the video sessions seem to be working quite well. We do have people on site, therapists on site to respond to any kind of emergencies or situations that arise. And stress and anxiety is top on the list of student concerns right now with freshmen. And so we're doing a lot of groups to support students in that regard. So thanks so much for your time and have a great rest of your day. Max, take it from there.
Thank you, Dr. Berta. Good day, everyone. My name is Max Koskoff. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am the Assistant Director of Residential Life here at the University of Hartford. So thank you first and foremost for coming to our virtual session this afternoon here online. So right here, I am excited to talk to you about our residential life program. We have two types of residence halls here on campus for our first year students. Our neighborhood style, which is where a majority of our students live, 1,000 students total, in fact, and they go through A through D neighborhoods. A through D neighborhoods are our traditional style halls in regards to each neighborhood has 4 different buildings. Each building has 4 floors. Each floor has 2 bathrooms with roughly 18 students per sharing those 2 bathrooms. Each floor is also, in most cases, the same gender. We do have some gender neutral floors or other types of mixed gender floors as well, if that is something that you are looking for. In each neighborhood, there are 8 resident assistants. A resident assistant is really the person who is your resource on the residential side to the rest of campus. They are your advocate, they are your peer, they are someone who does programs for you, they are someone who holds you accountable when you are breaking policy. They're there though to support you through your education here at the institution. Within each floor, there's also a common lounge, which has usually 2 sofas just for people to sit. And then in the basements of each neighborhood, there are shared amenities for all 4 buildings, such as a TV lounge, a laundry room. There is free laundry on campus. Some basements have a video game area, some have pool tables. Either way though, it is sure to make you happy and give you this area for hanging out with your friends and creating this spontaneous. All of these spaces were also recently renovated, which is really nice, and they're all top notch. In regards to your bedroom is going to have a bed, a desk, a dresser, a twin XL mattress, a desk and a desk chair. And within that, additionally, every first year area has its own in-unit air conditioning, usually through a wall unit or something like that, as well as heat, obviously. But also the thing that most schools don't have that we do is IPTV, which is great. So you can actually get your own Xfinity account with your own DVR. So that's a little bit about the neighborhoods. Now let's talk about Hawk Hall. Hawk Hall is another corridor style housing. It is still traditional style, but it is a corridor style housing. So there are 4 floors with 50 residents per floor. On that floor is 2 bathrooms, 1 per gender, as well as 2 resident assistants to kind of oversee those students on that floor. They do the exact same thing as our residents in our neighborhoods. In addition though, there's a room, almost like a study room per floor, as well as 2 lounges on the floors as well. Hawk Hall does include a learning community that is specific to those types of students. So you would be applying for that learning community, which is an extra essay during your housing application. And the amenities in regards to the actual room are the exact same. So it's really important to know all of this, because we here in residential life are here to set you up for success in whatever way. So if you're a student who you know thrives in an area that is noisy, an area that has activity throughout it, then Hawk Hall is the building for you. If you're someone who's a little bit more reserved, someone who doesn't like that hustle and bustle of the world, then a neighborhood might be better for you because it's a little bit more quieter. You're still going to get the exact same community development experience and programmatic experience no matter where you go. Beyond what our buildings actually have to offer is two other quick notes. Our RAs, again, they're top notch. RAs are supervised by a professional staff member who's there to support you through your career here at the university. That professional staff member is also in charge of creating community, but also really doing programs. And we do a lot of programs nowadays. So today you may have heard in the student panel, I don't know if they talked about it, today we're doing a food truck festival on campus with a roller rink. And all of it is socially distanced, of course, but we're really trying to make sure that students really have a way to interact and engage with one another here on campus. Last thing before I let you all go is on Tuesday night, we're doing a special bonus pop-up residential life session. I think it was on the 2 slides ago, but that's hosted by our RAs. So that way you can also hope to ask them questions that you may not have right now. So hope to see you there. And again, thanks for coming. I think Megan is next from Study Abroad.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good afternoon if you're in the afternoon time zone. My name is Megan Murphy-Rennie, and I'm the Assistant Director for Education Abroad here at the University of Hartford. You can see our website on the screen right now, but I'm just going to be here to talk about a few facts about studying abroad for the University of Hartford that might be different from the other institutions that you're looking at. So on the next slide, you can see that every single University of Hartford student is eligible to study abroad. This does not happen at every other institution. So if you're interested in studying abroad, or if you think you might want to, every single student can do it at the University of Hartford. So this is across all 7 colleges. We've had double and triple majors who've studied abroad, students within the honors courses, commuter students, transfers, international students, athletes, etc. We also have short-term semester and full year programs. So there's really an opportunity for any amount of time. The short term typically ranges from 1 to 3 weeks over winter break, spring break, or summer term. And then the full semester is a full semester just abroad rather than at the University of Hartford. Students can do any combination of those programs depending on their academic track. And we have had a lot of students who started out with the first year experience, which takes place at the end of the first full year here at Hartford. And then they go on and do another short-term program or a full semester program. Another thing that could be potentially unique to University of Hartford compared to the other institutions you're looking at is that we do allow our students to use most, if not all, of their financial aid package for their University of Hartford approved study abroad programs. So that's something, whether it's a grant or a scholarship, you can always use for approved programs. In addition, you can apply for more aid through our office, the International Center, as well as through our program providers and our overseas institutions. So it doesn't have to be an expensive opportunity. It's available for everyone. There is no language requirement in terms of studying abroad. So you can study abroad in almost any location around the world without having any previous experience. Which is a real highlight that we like to focus on, is you can study abroad in Nepal, which is actually the previous photo is from a student who went to Nepal, and she didn't know a single word of the language before she got there. If you want to pick up a language, studying abroad is excellent for that. And we do actually have a few programs where you can do up to 3 semesters worth of a language in 1 semester. So it's a great opportunity to pick up a minor. And again, it might be not something that's not available at other institutions. Outside of studying abroad, we have students who do internships overseas, they conduct research, they teach abroad, they do service learning or volunteer programs. So these are things that you can do in addition to a study abroad program, or you could do separately over a summer or throughout the semester if you choose to. And another question that we typically get from students is whether or not you can study abroad and graduate on time. And the shorter answer is yes. If you do the proper planning and if you come in early and get the information available to you and for your specific major, you will always graduate on time. Study abroad doesn't factor into that as long as you choose an appropriate program. And we've even had students who have graduated early, whether it's a full semester or a full year. So it's definitely possible. The last point on this slide talks about how only 10% of US college students choose to study abroad. So it's an excellent marketing opportunity. And we've had students who have used the study abroad experience to their advantage and have gotten internships and or job positions because of the connections they've made through the study abroad program. So we're looking forward to seeing you. On the next slide is a map of the countries where we currently offer study abroad programs. And you'll see that the United States is colored in as well. So we actually have 2 programs within the states, so you can study abroad without actually having to leave the country. We work with Hawaii Pacific University in Hawaii and with American University's Washington Semester Program in Washington, D.C., where you can actually do an internship within, any of the political spheres down there if you would like to. We had a student a few years ago who got to meet President Obama. but you don't have to be in politics. That's open to communications and other majors as well. Additionally, we also have virtual programs, which has been up and coming. So that's an option too. You can still take classes in Australia, but from the comfort of your own Hartford on-campus dorm room. So there's plenty of options for a lot of different students depending on your interests. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those in the Q&A. Otherwise, you can visit the website, and we do have a virtual office on there where you can get more information as well. But thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to the Office of Student Engagement and Inclusion.
Hello, everyone. My name is Torshay Anderson, Executive Director of the Office of Student Engagement and Inclusion. I'm happy to be here with you all today, and I hope to meet with you in the fall. The Office of Student Engagement and Inclusion is another one-stop shop, and it's pretty much all of the experiences outside of the classroom. This saying was true to me in college, and I believe it to be true to everyone else. You would pick UHart for your degree, but it's the experiences you're going to remember when you finish college, when you're looking back. So that motivates me, and it motivates the people in our office to provide you with an experience that's going to be an enjoyable one, and one that is that you're going to remember when you graduate as well. So that leads me to talk about our foundational pillars, which are service excellence, diversity, equity, inclusion, and leadership development. And you'll get that through all of the experiences that the offices provide. Through the Student Government Association, we have 100+ clubs and organizations, and community is extremely important. So if there's a club or organization that isn't currently at the University of Hartford, through the Student Government Association, you're able to create an organization of your interests. We also have a wonderful commuter student association. So if you're a commuter, they plan programs specifically to you. They send out newsletters on a monthly basis. They advocate for commuter needs. We have a host of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Some of those initiatives include our book fund program, that, you know, the cost of college is extremely expensive, and we understand that. So we have a fund that any student can apply for us to purchase their most expensive book. And that's, again, eligible to any student. We also have 4 scholarship programs through our office because, again, we want to retain you all and while creating an experience that you're going to remember. We also have Greek life that's through our office. We currently have 7 fraternities and 5 sororities. So if that's something that you're looking to be involved with, that's available in our office as well. Leadership development is embedded in every experience you will receive. So that's either that will be through your club and org experiences, that will be as a part of Greek life, student government. Is weaved into everything we do. Service excellence is also extremely important to the office. So we do annual programs. I believe earlier in the session, someone talked about our alternative spring break that is run through our office. We have an angel tree program that happens every year around the holiday season, where we work with a couple of our nonprofits to provide toys and clothing to people in need during the holiday season. We have Hawks Helping Hartford that happens annually, where we work with about 20, 25 nonprofit agencies, and we send about 300 students, faculty, staff, and alum out into the community, and we serve the greater Hartford area. As you're involved with community service, it's important. If you don't have transportation, we have a community service van, so we'll take you to your service. And we have our events, Hartford Events and Activities team. So we're able, that group plans programs. They're actually a part of the food truck festival today with the roller rink. They plan about 40 to 50 programs a semester. So there's so much that you can get involved through our office. So I hope to see your faces, whether that's in person or virtually. Stop by, or you can email us, and we'll definitely find ways to connect you to experiences outside of your academic learning. Thank you for your time. And I'm going to pass it over to the fabulous Brooke Penders from our career office.
Thanks for thinking I'm fabulous. Nice to see you, Torshea, and thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke Penders. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Career and Professional Development. We are located in the beautiful Gengras Student Union. We have a wonderful space that we unfortunately are not able to utilize to its full potential right now, but that hasn't stopped us from providing engaging and dynamic programming for all of our students, first year through senior year, through grad school, and even some returning alums. So the Career Studio has provided us a lot of ways to link up people with learning in our office that that goes way beyond get your resume polished up and where can I go to look for a full-time job now that I'm a senior. We really want it to be a place where, yes, you can explore careers, you can plan for those careers, and then you can transition to those careers, or perhaps grad school, or perhaps to starting your own business. We have great relationships with our alumni and with industry experts, both locally, nationally, internationally in some cases, and we want you to find your place in the Career Studio. We have a professional staff that's there to serve you, and we also launched a career peer mentor program a few years back, so you will see them not only in the Career Studio, but you might find them in your laundry room or at Commons. So there are all kinds of places where you might be able to ask a question about the career office and how you can best engage. We have a lot of events. Sometimes they were in that beautiful space, and sometimes they were out in the middle of Hawk Lounge in the Gengras Student Union. This year, they're all virtual. We're actually finding that it's offered us a great opportunity to engage employers from all over, from many different industries, and not always ones where our alumni are. Just because a lot of people are wanting to hear more about students from the University of Hartford. We do have such a great reputation for providing practical professional experiences that go along with the academic learning. So we love to take full advantage of the great work our faculty does in the classroom and marry those with experiences, projects, and other ways students can demonstrate what they're capable of and how they can apply those skills and abilities they gained in the classroom. Our workshops include basics like how to develop your resume, whether that's just from scratch or you're looking to tweak it after an internship, or you're considering a full-on major change and how are you going to explain that, so to speak. We'd like to provide people with talking points that help support their resume. It's not just a flat document that you just hand in. You should be able to speak to it, talk to it, explain it, and do a good job of kind of portraying your personal brand and who you are. We also do, speaking of who you are, we do a lot of personal assessments around your personality and what careers might be a good fit for you. So we offer sessions where you can come in with your results and we talk about them, we analyze them, and we talk about what might be your next step. We have at least 3 career fairs every year. This year, our 2 in October are virtual. So we are exploring that whole thing for the first time, but we've attended quite a few of them and are really excited about the possibility of introducing you to even more employers for anyone else who would to be on board. So that's one thing that you could count on if you make it to the University of Hartford and you choose to become a Hawk. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to learn about employment, employers, internships, externships. And then every student at the University of Hartford gets an account to Handshake, which is an online job platform where you can begin exploring what jobs are actually out there, trends in hiring, trends in employment, internships, and the like. And we have some phenomenal connections with employers through our Handshake account. We are not just that place you go to ask about your resume, like I said previously. We really want to be far more involved with you and your thinking. We would love to hear from people about what they're expecting. Yes, we have a packed program for the fall, but we are always open to hear from students about what they were needing and what they're wanting. Those career peer mentors that we've hired really do a nice job of sharing news from the student body with us. But our doors are always open and our emails are always available to take questions from students. So that's a little bit about the Career Studio. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, and it's back to Shane.
All right. Well, thank you all. This has been wonderful, and we very much appreciate you all sharing some of those key features of your respective areas. I know that there's a few questions out there we're going to get in the Q&A, but I also want to throw some out in kind of the open mic format here a little bit. So stand by if I call on you to just take a few questions for us. And actually, I want to start with Katie, jumping back to the Center for Student Success for a moment. Just Katie, if you can take a moment to talk to students as they're going through, obviously right now, the application process. Believe it or not, it will be very quick before many students are admitted and thinking about making that decision of where to enroll and what does that look like in that transition, right? And certainly in kind of these just unusual times, not kind of, these unusual times that we are all living in, I think there's a lot more uncertainty and anxiety about what those transitions might look like. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some examples of how the Center for Student Success has been able to be helpful to students in making that transition this year and what that might look like going forward as they get acclimated to campus, whether it's as a residential student or even as a commuter, but just really moving into that first year experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Shane. So this year is a little bit different in every possible way, but we have a lot of students who are studying remotely, for example, this semester, and plan to study remotely in the spring semester. And so one of the things that our office has been really involved in is working with students on, do you have what you need to study remotely? We need to put you in the right classes to make sure you're making progress towards your degree, obviously, but we also need to put you in the right classes where you're going to have a positive online learning experience. And so a lot of what our advisors are working on with their caseloads is what's the balance of those classes look like across a 5-day week? You know, do you have other obligations that you need to be managing at home? Do you have siblings that you take care of? Do you have a job that you're working? You know, we know that when students are not living on campus and studying in the traditional way, it's often because they have other responsibilities and things that they might need to take care of. So we're really working on what is best for all of our individual students. So that kind of goes to the remote learning piece and how we're navigating things a little differently in this COVID semester. We've also got, I mean, I talked a little bit about this, but our first year success seminar class, we've changed up the curriculum a lot. So just to target kind of the different and unique issues that students are facing this semester as opposed to prior falls when they've been transitioning in. So we know that students are going to need assistance with time management. We know that students are going to need assistance with study strategies and getting connected to tutoring and other campus resources. But there's been a much larger focus this year on online learning platforms. So even though this group of students, they had to transition to online learning in the spring of their senior year of high school, and many of you right now are in online learning in your current, respective high schools, but the way that college classes look different from high school classes. The college online experience looks different than the high school online experience. The platforms that we use are going to look different. Different professors might use different things. And so in our success seminars, the first year advisors have been working with students on, okay, what does this class use? Are they on Zoom? Are they using Blackboard Collaborate? How are you going to make sure you're logging into your classes on time? If you've got some classes that are hybrid, which weeks are you in person? Which weeks are you online? And really helping a student get organized in a very specific way that's unique to this semester. So our first year advisors, I keep talking about them and they teach this class. Each of them has a caseload of students and they're usually divided up by major and by college. And so they'll have a group of students that they get to know extremely well and that they work with individually and in those group settings in the classroom. So the advisors are really in tune with what our students are in need of. And we've had students have different needs this semester. There's always some amount of adjustment to the social life and feeling a little bit out of place and having that adjustment period. And right, like the social, like everyone else is having a great time, if I'm having as good classes and look a little bit different for a lot of standards of what they do, what they feel safe to engage with other people. And so we're working with students navigating all of those transitions as well.
Great, thank you, Katie. There was a question about the honors program and actually another one out there as well. So let me just address that briefly. To be considered for the University Honors Program, that actually happens during the application and admission process. So not only is our admission staff reviewing students for admission to the University of Hartford, but they are also reviewing them for academic scholarship and also admission to the University Honors Program. And so at the time of admission, you would also be notified if you were in fact admitted into the University Honors Program at that point in time. That being said, if you are not admitted to the program in your first year, you can actually apply even during your enrollment at the University of Hartford. So there are other opportunities to be able to participate in the program. And really, while there are a lot of differences with respect to being an honors student versus being a traditional student, some of the key factors are obviously taking honors level courses where there might be special projects, research projects and activities that students are participating in with faculty. Also being able to participate in national competitions, having access to special unique speakers that come onto campus that are hosted through the University Honors Program as well. Those are just some of the key features, but I would encourage you to visit our website, and Dr. Don Jones is the coordinator of our honors program. He is always happy and eager to talk about those opportunities and the experiences that our students have, and even can get you connected with a current honors student. There is not a list of specific majors that are limited to the University Honors Program. Any major to which a student applies can also be considered for honors level coursework. If there is not an honors level version of a class that you are taking, what happens is the faculty and the honors chair will work on what's called an honors contract, where they will actually develop a special series of projects and experiences for the student that meet the honors requirements so that you can get honors level credit at that time. Torshea, I wanted to bring you on for a moment because I think in speaking with honors, it makes me also think of leadership opportunities. And I think that, while there are so many different ways for students to get involved and so many different levels, we have lots of students that have inquired about leadership opportunities on campus that they might be bringing over from their high school experience. And a lot of times students think about that simply with being student government, which I know obviously we do have. But there's lots of different ways student can lead on campus. Students might want to lead a charge on something that they're passionate about. Students might want to lead in a more traditional manner, like in a student government. But can you talk a little bit about all the different types of leadership opportunities, or at least a sampling of them, that students can experience at the university?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest ways is your involvement as a student within any of the clubs you decide to join, being a part, and I know, so you talked about the Student Government Association, but not the student leaders that lead the Student Government Association, the clubs and orgs that you're a part of. Being a part of that, the office this year in particular, through our Assistant Director for Student Engagement, has develop leadership trainings that will happen for all clubs and organizations. So just being a part of a club and organization, you will then have the opportunity to expand knowledge on all of our foundational pillars, which are the service excellence, diversity, equity, inclusion, and what we're talking about, leadership development. Again, if you walk into our office with an idea, we're going to listen to that idea and we're going to figure out how we can make that idea happen if you're passionate about it and you want to see it happen on campus. And that's leadership within itself. If you want something to happen, we're going to coach you through it. So that's another way that you can exercise leadership as a student. I believe, just being a part of just making yourself actively be a part of things happening on campus. So alternative spring break is another way that you can demonstrate your leadership skills and your passion for your community. Typically with alternative spring break, we have head students that just help out with that process as well. So another opportunity. If you can imagine it, it happens, and we're going to do our best to cultivate that through the office. And I don't like to take credit for everything. Everyone on this call, everyone a part of this Zoom is a part of the leadership that you'll get by being at the University of Hartford.
Wonderful, thank you. I think that's a great segue, and a point that should just be re-emphasized is that for all of you listening, the individuals on this call and the colleagues that they work with in their respective areas, there's a tremendous amount of synergy that takes place among all of these departments. Not only are many of them in physical proximity to one another, with respect to their offices and their areas being very close to one another in the same building, but there is a lot of collaboration and work that goes into the programming and the opportunities for our students, and a tremendous amount of care and pride that is put forth in making sure students have such positive and rich experiences. And to that, I actually am going to ask Brooke and Katie to go ahead and turn their videos on for a moment, because you guys can kind of bounce off one another on this, because I think it's an interesting question. There are lots of students at this stage in the process that are undecided about their major and really undecided about their career path. And sometimes that's a pretty, while it shouldn't be because it's very common, it's natural for students to feel like that's a pretty lost space to be. Like they feel like they have to know it right now, when really they don't. And that college is actually the perfect opportunity to begin to figure it all out, right? And I know that there is a lot that happens from the Career Studio side, in addition to the Center for Student Success, with different instruments and programming that occurs to really help students get on a path to finding what that right career might be, what that right major might be, and those opportunities. Can you both talk a little bit about how that works and what students might expect?
Katie, do you mind if I start?
You get started.
Great. Actually, we have a nice relationship that's building with the new Center for Student Success. So we work with Katie and Mike Ormsby and a variety of other people to how do we embed career exploration into that first year seminar class. Going forward, every incoming student will take the type focus self-assessment. We will talk about the basics of resume and how it's a great place to begin thinking about what you've done, why have you chosen to do those things, and which things did you like and which things did you not like. Sometimes the best experiences are the ones where you can cross something off and say, don't want to do that, didn't enjoy that. So I think we like to collaborate with centers like the Center for Student Success, just because we can all bring the anxiety of it down a little, and we make it normal to talk about career, and we make it normal to hear from alums who had a major in something and then transition to something else. People can feel very alone in all of this, and I think especially now, given that we aren't as all together. So we love collaborations with departments on campus that can help us demonstrate how people have soared in careers and how people might not have been on a very linear path, but they've been successful nonetheless. So, and those opportunities aren't really available if we just try and exist on our own in the Career Studio. So partnerships with the Center for Student Success are critical for us.
Absolutely, totally agree, everything you said. And one of the ways I love that we've been integrating this together is through the first year success seminar class. So our first year advisors are doing some sessions in that class to talk about career development in the very early stages, and then partnering that with the calendar of events that you all have. So where we might do something in class in a particular week and then encourage our students to attend a particular event that is going on in the career studio. So that's a really fun connection. It's an in-class component and an out-of-class component for them, which I love. And then individually, the first year advisors are working with students every single day who are like, I was so sure that this is what I wanted to do, and I don't like it anymore. And I'm here and I'm in these classes and I'm just, I'm doing all this, I'm doing all this science, or I'm doing all these social sciences. And it's like, it just turns out this isn't for me. But this other class that I had to take as a gen ed, I'm really doing well in that, and I'm really liking this over here. Is that a career option? Is that something I can pursue? And by and large, the answer is absolutely yes. So we can definitely do that.
Yes. And to mirror something that Cam said during the student panel, we always try and take not just like, what can I do with my life, but how do I as a person fit into that career? So that's why we do specific programming around LGBTQ in the workplace. What does it mean to be LGBTQ in the workplace, and how can I find employers that are supportive? I believe it was Donovan who talked about his interest and appreciation for us bringing the FBI in. I think we opened a lot of people's eyes that you don't have to be a criminal justice major to explore jobs with the FBI, and they're interested in psychology majors, and they're interested in a variety of people. So we like to surprise people with programming. And it's really nice to have partners who could reinforce and highlight some of those opportunities that students might not have otherwise thought about.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of fun doing it.
So too.
That's great. Thank you both. And with that, while I can sit here and pick the brains of this crew all day long and just have fun talking to them about all the cool things that are happening on our campus in all the respective areas, I know that we have to get you all moved on to the next part of our program in the day. So again, I want to thank all of the representatives that joined us today for taking the time and sharing the opportunities and experiences that are available to students looking at the University of Hartford. We know that this is an important decision as you think about these next steps in your educational choices, and again, as we just talked about, even in thinking about a career. And we certainly hope that this information has very much helped you recognize that the University of Hartford is a pretty cool and special place and has a lot of really neat people on staff here that are ready and willing to work with you and for you in any way that we can. With that, we do need to move you on to the school and college portion of today's program. This is where you will have the ability to hear from faculty, deans, current students in your respective areas of interest. And so you can either use the links that were provided to you in your confirmation email, or it is also noted here on the screen on the Open House resource page. Again, navigate to the link that is related to the area of interest that you have. There was a question in our prior session about students that are undecided, so I'll just mention it now. If you are undecided, while you're welcome to go to any of the programs, the College of Arts and Sciences is where our students who are undecided, or what we call exploratory major, would begin. But again, while you are welcome to go to that presentation, if you think you are leaning towards a career path in the health professions, then by all means choose one under the College of Education, Nursing and Health Professions. Or if it is in the arts, maybe it's the Hartford Art School or the Hart School for Music, Dance, Theater. So again, we are going to send you on your way to the college and school presentations. We hope that you enjoy and you find them informative. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us at any point in time throughout the application and admission process. If you have any questions, we are here to help, and we wish you all good health, stay safe, and thanks for joining us today. Take care, everyone.